Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the End of the Bench. Just get underway here in the First United Bank studio. I'm Rob Breaux alongside Craig Wells. Lucas White in the building today. You can call in on the Visual Edge IT hotline at 06-771-0973. You can also hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line as we go through the show today. Walking into the studio today, Choice Woodman has it on Colorado-Texas Tech football replay in the studio. And it's 13-10 at halftime, so he got all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And he's trying to subject us to the blowout of a second half that was Colorado's trip to Lubbock.
I would think a rerun of Seinfeld might be more interesting to watch.
We'll figure something else out probably here pretty soon as Colorado's already driving here to open the second half.
Yeah, and they showed 4 highlights, and 3 of them were Colorado.
In the first half, yeah, as a 13-10 lead here. Going back, thoughts on the Mahomes jerseys here. In the moment, hard to read.
Yeah.
Not as bad as I remember on TV, though.
They're okay. Yeah, they're okay. I'm not a big gray fan. I'm not a big gray fan. I'm a black or red or white fan, and just about any combination of that. But I think there's a couple of things I did like about it. I like the silver on the sleeves and the numbers and so forth, but they're hard to read on gray. You know, I think they might look good on black.
The chrome kind of steel chrome, look, platinum, whatever they called it.
Yep. And I don't know. I just they've got red leggings, and a lot of them have red sleeves and so forth. I'm not real sure a black or red helmet might not have looked better with it. I don't know. They're okay. I mean, I liked them for a one-time different, and they're modern, you know, and I think you know, you got to go with what's relevant at this time. And Patrick, I'm anxious, I'd be curious to know. Not anxious, but I'd be curious to know if he had any
design input, like Cliff.
Input. Yeah,
like Cliff had the design input.
Yeah,
I really like them because they have the Mahomes logo. Is pretty much the bottom line.
Yeah.
There.
Now
I wonder if they'll use. I wonder if they'll use those again, or if they'll have a separate Mahomes uniform every year, or if the throwback this year will be the Mahomes brand, or if all the uniforms might have Mahomes brand on them. Because I think it was Iowa State. You had the white uniform, just the black, white, black potentially, but it had the Gladiator logo on there. So it'll be interesting to see.
You know, one thing I think's coming, Rob, is not every team. I think there's a select number, and I used to know that number, but in Nike, there are so many, and I think it used to be like 18, but are what they call jump schools, Nike Jordan jump schools, and they have the Jordan logo, and
Oklahoma, Michigan, North Carolina, amongst them.
And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think
they're still building the brand.
Yeah, and I think the brand is going to dictate it. I mean, you're going to see the Adidas logo somewhere, but you're going to see that Mahomes brand up there. And then I think as other schools, big schools, I think they're going to, even though Mahomes brand is just Tech now, I think you'll see it spread out. I really do.
Who's next? You think they go elsewhere in the Big 12, or you think the next school's outside the Big 12?
I think they'll go outside the Big 12. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Louisville, they're a big Adidas school. They've always been a big Adidas school. Kentucky, their in-state rival, just signed with Nike, re-upped with Nike. So
you think Louisville would do it with the Lamar Jackson, Mahomes
that's
rivalry?
A good point. I thought about that, and that's a good point.
Well, imagine Nebraska doing it.
Nebraska.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
If Raiola stays for another year, they almost have to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good choice there, Lucas. I agree with that. Yeah, because first of all, they're close to Kansas City. Bunch of Kansas City fans. They're probably as loyal to Kansas City as they are anything. And,
allegedly, Arizona State wanted to do it first.
Really?
That they had broached the subject, but it was always going to be Texas Tech if it was going to happen first.
Yeah, and the only reason I would think Louisville is only because of their longevity with Adidas.
Right.
Yeah.
Adidas, kind of like as a reward to Louisville. They get offered first.
And to my knowledge, Adidas has not been at Arizona State that long. They were they were a Nike school for a long, long time. And, I see that happening.
Well, there's the fashion talk for the day. Coming up on the dais today, we've got Texas Tech football. We've got Big 12 football. We're going to play some new games. We're gonna call it Ceiling Floor. So we'll give you the ceiling of 4 Big 12 teams and the floor of 4 Big 12 teams, the same 4. We'll do Ceiling Floor for the first alphabetical teams as we move along. We'll do 4 more Thursday, and then we'll keep it with Craig. We'll do Tuesday, Thursday next week to get all 16. It's going to take a full 2 weeks because there's so many teams in the Big 12 now. But we're getting to that point in the offseason, the preseason, to where we can start really looking at schedules and kind of have an idea. Obviously, you don't really know until you get deeper into fall camp, and obviously some games get played. It's interesting. I was looking at Baylor's this morning just to kind of potentially feel it out, and there's a wide gap, especially because of their non-con.
Yeah.
There's a wide gap between ceiling and floor, and I same with Arizona State. And I guess it's going to be that way looking through most of the favorites. But it's like BYU and Baylor, I think, both have similar floors, but wildly different ceilings to me.
And Baylor has arguably one of the tougher schedules in the country.
Non-con, I would put them up there against nearly anybody.
Yeah.
With SMU and Auburn.
Yeah.
Of course, they have Samford as well, but that's Samford.
Yeah.
But
they do play Stanford in the ACC, don't they? Or
no, they play SMU in the ACC. Yeah.
Don't they play? I mean, later in. Didn't I see where they signed a series? Or
something?
Later
on, yeah. Because this is their. I don't think they'll continue with SMU either.
Yeah.
I think BYU or Baylor and TCU are kind of like, we don't need to play.
I see a lot of Big 12 schools hooking up with ACC schools on scheduling.
Should do it more and more. We'll also talk Major League Baseball. Josh Young is back. We'll cover that when we come back in the headlines.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the End of the Bench. Yesterday, Memphis tried to join the Big 12. No, it all came out yesterday. It wasn't like they asked yesterday and were denied yesterday. That was kind of what some of the reporters were saying.
Yeah.
But in all the reporting I read, that it was about a 2-week process, 3-week process, probably longer, that Memphis had initially expressed interest, gave a plan, and then were ultimately denied by the Big 12 presidents, ADs, whoever's making these votes. But I just want to ask you, Craig and Lucas, would you accept the Big 12 on these conditions? Because this is what Memphis allegedly asked for. The school would take 1, 0 distribution for the final 5 years of the league's television deal with ESPN and Fox. 2, add sponsorships in excess of $150 million over 5 years. And 3, subject itself to expulsion after 2030-31, that's the end of the TV deal, if the Big 12 deems it's not adding value. And I guess this is, hey, FedEx, Home Depot, and our other big brands and sponsors will sponsor the Big 12 to the tune of $150+ million. If you don't let us in, they will not. You won't ever get the business of these brands. So would you take that, yes or no?
No. And for a couple of reasons. One, I don't, and they even stated it, if you feel like we don't add value, I don't think they add any value to the Big 12. Not the way it is right now. And if you add one, you're going to have to go get another one. So right now, I would not do it. I just don't see Memphis fitting into the Big 12 picture. Their football is not near as strong as it, you take the weakest link of the Big 12 right now, arguably say maybe Arizona, and I just don't see them being as good as Arizona. Basketball-wise, yeah, I think they could play middle of the pack plus top in the basketball year in and year out. But then the rest of the sports, I don't know. I just don't think they add enough value to go through all that. And also, I'm a little bit – I don't think you should just buy your way into a conference. I think you earn your way into it. And I don't know. Buying your way and buying players and buying, sponsors and everything else is changed, So I give Memphis an A+ for the package they put together. I darn sure do. I think they
might work for the ACC.
Yeah, I think they put it out on the table that they're willing to do this or do that, and kudos to them for that. If I'm the Big 12, I just don't think we're ready to do that yet.
Lucas, would you say yes to that deal? Potentially $200 million over 5 years, and all you have to do is deal with Memphis?
I think Memphis is where they need to be right now. They're dominating the American. They went 6-2 in conference play and 11-2 overall during their football season. Was ranked 24th, ending the year. And then in basketball, they went 16-2 and 29-6. So they're dominating the group of 4 or group of 5, whatever. And I think.
Group of 6? What is it now?
It's whatever.
The group of, yeah.
But the point is, I think Memphis is one of those teams where you look at the group of 5, 6, whatever, and you immediately think of Memphis as one of the top tier teams outside of the Power 4. And so I think with the expansion of the college football playoffs and possibly the expansion of the March Madness tournament, I think their seeding would be higher if they were still in the American than they would be in the Big 12, beating up other Big 12 teams like Houston, Kansas, Tech, Arizona State. I think they need to position themselves in a better scenario where they can get a higher ranking by staying in the American.
I think Memphis, Liberty, there's some Mountain West schools. Those are all kind of the next wave if something does happen to expand what we call the Power 4 now. But to me, this is a position of strength from the Big 12 currently to say we don't need the cash influx just to have a cash influx, even though they could say, yeah, come in, Memphis. Yeah. And then behind closed doors before they get there, they'd be like, all right, we're just going to steal money for 5 years and then immediately kick them out. Because who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? We could have the Super Leagues come to fruition or whatever else at the end of this TV deal. But to me, the bigger thing here is that the Big 12, looking at itself, should say, we screwed up 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. We picked the wrong school. We should have gone Memphis over UCF. We should have gone Memphis over Houston.
Or Cincinnati.
We certainly should have gone Memphis over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think Memphis over any of those three, certainly Cincinnati. Because you should have had the foresight of saying, yeah, Memphis hasn't been as good in the last 2 years. Yeah, Cincinnati went to a playoff. Yeah, Cincinnati certainly has some basketball history. Cincinnati has had, Bob Huggins and what is it, Bayline and some of these historic coaches. They've certainly had some football success under Luke Fickell, and other football coach Brian Kelly went through Cincinnati.
Tommy Tuberville.
Well, I wasn't going to say him, but so you do have some history with Cincinnati, but the foresight that they did not have at the time was you're not taking Cincinnati or Memphis, you're taking FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking the Memphis area. You're taking, well, I don't know if that's a plus either, but
recruiting-wise, it darn sure is.
You're taking Home Depot. You're taking the money. And I think it's certainly not time right now to add Memphis. And it's certainly probably not ever going to be time to add Memphis to the Big 12 unless some really crazy things happen and you start getting up to 20 teams with the Big 10 and the SEC and the ACC, and it's just going to be 80 schools in the top section of college football, and those 4 leagues are going to have 80 teams, and that's just everybody that plays for the championship. But you missed it. You missed your opportunity. It's gone now. There's no world I see Memphis agreeing to exactly what SMU agreed to, which I guess currently would be a better deal for the Big 12 than what the SMU people are doing. SMU is doing it, but they're just saying, hey, we'll just play for free. We'll pay our own way.
Yeah, they rented some space.
Memphis wants to add value somewhere monetarily, and it would have been great in that initial run. It would have been awesome in that initial run. It just does not make sense today with what you have going.
Look at it as a businessman. You look at SMU, you see potential. You see money behind them that potentially the facilities are going to be as good as anybody needs. The coaching is going to be paid as good as anybody pays because they have that potential. You don't see that in Memphis. You see them with a couple of big dollar donors to get into the league, but you don't see that potential to sustain it over a period of year of time. Plus, you look at if it goes to 72 teams or 64, whatever, in football, and they create a football super conference, are they one of those top teams? In my opinion, no. And I would think SMU's borderline, but I think they're in there. So I think it ended up being a good choice by the Big 12 not to take Memphis. But like I said, kudos to them.
But I do think it proves they missed the opportunity.
No doubt. No doubt.
Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench. So the Red Sox lost to the Phillies yesterday.
Right.
The day before they beat the Cubs 6-1. And it wasn't yesterday. I'm going to have to figure this out. Never mind. I thought of a fun stat for you. Eventually we'll have a fun stat on the Red Sox. But first, let's do a burning question.
2 minutes of non-stop in-your-face inquiries with no end in sight. It's time for Burning Questions.
All right. We've talked about the American Association Conference dropping their name to the American Conference for marketing and lots of other purposes. The Big 12 has 16 teams. They are known as the marketing conference because of their commissioner, Brett Yormark, having that kind of a background. He's going to change the name. What should he change it to? What should be the new name for the Big 12 Conference?
If he changes it.
If he changes. If he changed it, what should he change it to?
Okay. If it's changed, I want to go full idiocracy. Let's just go down the path if we're going down the path and get some kind of sponsor. So if we want to go
the FedEx League?
Yeah, what's the beef jerky sponsor for the Big 12? Trapper?
Yeah.
If we want to go to the Trapper 12, if we're looping back in Memphis or without Memphis, and we want to call it the FedEx 12, whatever it is, in that kind of uneasy 6 months post Texas leaving, or at least announcing they were going to leave, before Yormark even, one of my first thoughts was to join the Pac-12. In about a week, I realized they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'm out on that. So my next big idea was the big American Conference.
Okay.
Which would have been a merger basically between the top half of the American and the existing Big 12 schools.
Okay.
I tried to do that for months. But then once you add those 4 schools in, my next plan, so what is this, option C at this point, is like get Oregon involved. You got to go get Oregon for the Big 12. Oregon, Arizona State, Utah. That was my top choice. Maybe Washington was in there. And I wanted to loop in Phil Knight and call it the NAC, the Nike Athletic Conference.
Okay. Yeah.
Would have been all in on that.
Yep.
I don't think you get them without Oregon. But that would have been my ideal. So whatever you want to call it, if it's the All-State Athletic League or the Phillips 66 League, Double Eagle League, whatever you want to call it, conference, that's what I want to do. I want to go full, let's just sell out to the highest bidder. Apple Athletic Conference. The AAC is now open. So we can go to the Apple Athletic Conference. And I want it on a 5-year rotating basis. If they want to re-up in 5 years, they can. If you want to get in some new blood and a higher bidder, you can do that too. I'm not tied to anything at this point. Let's do it. Let's go year by year.
Okay.
Highest bidder every offseason. What would you name it, Lucas?
First of all, I think you're right. You got to take the number out of it. You got to.
Sure, yeah.
Because what's 12 today, 16 tomorrow, 20 next week. So yeah, I agree with you. That's an interesting concept, Rob. All right, Lucas.
I would name the Big 12 the Collective.
Ooh.
Or the Entourage.
Ooh.
Just
Pretty mysterious.
Showing off the money. So that's just kind of, obviously Tech would be the front runner for that, but TCU spending money, Houston spending money, so Arizona spending some money. So it's not just obviously Tech. Every school's got to come to the realization that if you want to be competitive and you want to win games, you're going to have to spend some money. So calling the group the Collective or the Entourage just kind of where my head was at.
How about this? How about you go full SEO value? This is how my mind works. And just call your conference the Super League.
Yeah.
Now they can't name it the Super League, and every Google search for Super League just brings up Big 12 stuff.
Yep. That's good.
The Power Conference.
Yep. Along your lines, I tried to think of something that is in common with Texas West or Texas East up there, or Texas, on the East Coast, West Virginia, and Nike and Apple and those kind of things. But I was thinking about maybe Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's in everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're a dominant brand. They're not going anywhere. But I don't know if anybody does that, puts a brand name on their league, I think it's going to be the Big 12. I really, really do.
Yeah, the SEC and the Big 10 don't need it.
Yeah.
And the Big 12 as a brand means something. But it didn't mean anything for a long time to even the schools in the conference because it wasn't marketed that way.
Yep. Yeah.
But I would prefer to just keep Big 12.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
all things the same.
Yeah. And I think they will until somebody forces the issue, because I don't think the Big Ten is going to change, and I don't think the Southeastern Conference is going to change. And as long as those two rule the roost, I think the others are going to be sheep and follow. But if the USFL hadn't taken, I sure do like United States Football League,
That's the last thing that came into my mind when you were talking, a lot of your teams are Central Time Zone, but you also have Mountain.
Yeah.
You've got Eastern.
Yep.
I mean, some kind of, if it's not the Nike Athletic Conference, you go National Athletic Conference, the NAC.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I like acronyms. I like, if you can call it the NAC.
Yeah. All right.
The MAC's going to die anyway, so you can just be the NAC.
Yep. All right, here we go. One more question. And this one I am not a follower of, but I did read a headline that according to TikTok, one of the things that is a hot topic right now for men is whether you like, and they're coming back apparently, wide leg or cargo pants. Are you a fan of wide leg and cargo pants as opposed to the thin, narrow leg pants that are pretty popular right now that you see golfers wearing that, like we talked about the other day, finish about 6 inches above your ankle bone?
Yeah, with the cuffed ankle.
Yeah.
I certainly prefer the wide leg. Now, I'm not going full Jinkos. I never had a pair of Jinkos. My sister wore Jinkos and a wallet chain. I never had Jinkos. I don't mind a good cargo short, though, or cargo pant.
Yeah.
It's versatile, utilitarian.
Apparently they're really popular now, or getting that way again.
Yeah, jorts were coming back, too.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a jorts guy in elementary school.
Were you? Really?
Oh, yeah. They were basically jeans, though, because they were well past the knee.
Our when I was growing up, jorts were your mom cut your jeans off because they had a hole in the knee, and so you wore them.
Yeah.
I'm a slim fit guy.
Are you? Yeah, but you're little.
I am.
Yeah, you fit them. You fit them well.
All right, we'll continue on. Give you some ceilings and floors for the first 4 Big 12 teams when we come back. 100.7 Score, Scene to the Bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the End of the Bench. I finally worked it out. I know I saw it yesterday, but then I couldn't figure out where I saw it or what I saw. 45-year-old Rich Hill has been called up by the Kansas City Royals to start today against the Cubs. Just incredible. I thought he retired years ago. I've not heard his name in a long time. All right, so we're going to go to a new segment for Craig and I. We'll do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays the next couple of weeks. potentially will continue on ceiling and floor.
All right.
But we'll have to find something else to ceiling and floor after we do the Big 12 teams.
Yep.
So we'll start with Arizona, and I'm going to start with you, Craig. Arizona's ceiling and floor. All right, I have mine if you want me to give you mine, and then you go. How do you want to do it? How do you want to play it?
We'll go alternating, and you go first.
All right, I'll go first here. First.
Felice.
I've got Arizona's ceiling as 5-7, floor 2-10. I do not think that Arizona is a bowl team even at their best. Looking through their schedule, Hawaii, Weber State, I think 2 wins. That's their 2 wins. The whole Big 12 schedule looks like murderer's row if you're Arizona. Plus, you play Kansas State out of conference. So you get 10 Big 12 games. One of them Kansas State. I can certainly see them winning 3 or 4 of those Big 12 opponents, but not many more.
Ceiling was what?
5-7.
Okay. We agree there.
Okay.
We agree there. I 5-7, but I think the floor would be 3-9.
Okay.
I agree with you, Hawaii and Weber State, but usually every team beats somebody they're not supposed to, and they also lose somebody they're not supposed to. So if Hawaii beat him, that wouldn't be a big. But the Kansas game at home seems like one they could win, and that would be my 3. But the rest of them, I agree with you. Other than Houston, they may be the worst team in the conference.
Other than Houston,
yeah,
we might have some difference of opinions there.
All right.
Especially with the guy who normally sits in your chair, at least the other days, David Collier.
Really?
He's high on Houston.
Are they?
Somehow.
Yeah, and I can see why. Willie Fritz is a good coach. He didn't have a great year last year, but I think they've got better players right now. But they've got a pretty tough.
Their work cut out for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas. Ceiling, floor.
Ceiling, I got them at 6-6. And floor, I have them at 4-8.
4-8. All right, Craig.
Arizona State. Floor, 7-5. Ceiling, is either 10-2 or 9-3. I'm gonna go 9-3. 9-3.
I really shot for the rafters here. I do agree 7-5.
Yep.
But I went 11-1
Okay.
ceiling.
Yeah.
11-1. Lucas, what do you think there?
Floor, I have 8-4. Ceiling, I have 12-0.
12-0. All right, give us Baylor, Lucas.
Baylor, I have ceiling at 10-2, and floor 6-6.
Floor 6-6. Ceiling 9-3.
I also have the floor at 6-6, and a lot of that is they're out of conference. They're non-conference.
Right. Yeah.
They play both Auburn and SMU.
Yeah.
And then through the Big 12, I think they could certainly lose 4 Big 12 games, if not more. I really might put the floor at 5-7 for Baylor.
Yeah.
But I've got their ceiling at 12-0. This defense, I don't know that the defensive line is going to be good enough to really reach their potential. But they've got 2 of the best linebackers in the Big 12. They both had over 100 tackles last year. Wreak havoc. Their secondary is going to be good under Dave Aranda. If their offense takes a step forward from last year, Baylor could be legit.
Yeah.
Baylor could be legit. I don't think they'll go 12-0. Obviously, that's like ceiling, everything hitting on hundreds and the Hemis in, and they got the turbocharger in the offense, and the defense is doing what it needs to do. But I think Baylor has a higher ceiling than Arizona State, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I think Arizona State might be. Look, both programs have had ups and downs. Both programs have Big 12 championships.
Yep.
But I think with both quarterbacks have good quarterbacks. Both programs have good quarterbacks.
Returners.
I don't know. They might both be just. I probably set the floor too low on Baylor, but just looking at that schedule, they could certainly start 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And if they start 1-2, they could start, 3-5. And maybe they finish strong like last year, but the schedule set up so well for them last year to finish strong, and I just don't know if it specifically does again. Though you look across their last 6 games, it's at TCU, at Cincinnati, UCF, Utah, at Arizona, Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go 1-5 or 5-1 in that stretch easily.
Yep. The difference to me between Arizona State and Baylor is, 1, the schedule, but 2, I think Baylor can be last year's Arizona State. I think Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham was his first year, his first trip through. I think he caught a lot of people by surprise simply because they were picked whatever. And I think, 1, mentally a lot of teams weren't ready to play him and so forth. But you look at their schedule, Arizona State's schedule, they play Baylor on the road, Utah on the road, Iowa State on the road. That's 3 teams that you could very easily lose to. And Baylor, you're right, has a very tough schedule, but you look at their road schedule, Oklahoma State, TCU, Cincinnati, and Arizona. I like that road schedule.
Yeah.
Even though it's a tough schedule, I like their road schedule.
Which is why I have their ceiling so high, because I think they can win some road games.
Yeah. I've got them at 9-3, but I think the SMU and TCU games are going to be crucial for them. They're big kind of rival games. They're games that SMU doesn't mean anything, but it could mean the difference between me being 10-2 and 9-3. But in conference-wise, I like them. I like them to be a contender for sure.
It's interesting. The Arizona ceiling and floor is about 3 games for me. 4 for Arizona State, 6 for Baylor, which seems like a cop-out, but I truly think Baylor is just that team under Aranda. I don't know what to expect. I think I expect the defense to be Aranda level good. And the offense was so good to end the year last year. They have the receiver back. They have the running back back. They have the quarterback back.
They have their offensive coordinator back.
The offensive coordinator, Spavital, back, which I did not respect going into last year. I'll certainly respect him going into this year.
He did a great job of bringing Sawyer Robertson along.
Yeah.
Because Sawyer Robertson finished the year before doubtful whether he was going to be the starter.
He didn't start the year as a starter.
Yeah, and he didn't start, but to bring Sawyer along, I thought they did a great job.
And then finally, BYU. I've got the ceiling for BYU 9-3, the floor 6-6. I think they'll be a bowl team at worst.
7-5 for the floor. 10-1 for the ceiling. They've got a good schedule. They the only games they play on the road, conference-wise, Colorado, Arizona, Iowa State, Tech, and Cincinnati. And I think, and I really do think that Tech's going to be their toughest game.
Lucas?
9-3 as their ceiling, 5-7 as their floor. Their quarterback has not played since 2023.
Yeah. That defense, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can replicate exactly what they were last year, but if they're close, they'll be fine. More after this, 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back, 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench. Bearmorn struggling a little bit in this first half against Iowa State. I had forgotten how much the offense struggled. At one point before this drive, they had 4 yards in the second quarter.
And is this the third interception?
Second.
Second in the first half?
Yeah. One down the field, and then that one was just really bad. That looked like a CFB 26 Rob Breaux special right there. I'm looking at the coverage behind him and don't see the linebacker or safety creeping out in the underneath the flat. Gives the ball back to Iowa State within field goal range in the final 20 seconds. That's a backbreaker. Sure hope Iowa State doesn't score here and take control going into halftime, huh, Craig?
Yep. Be nice if we could hold them.
Certainly put you in a poor situation in the second half. No chance Texas Tech can win this one. They're already down to the 15. All right. Let's get to Jerry Jones. Yesterday, they had a press conference to start training camp. They're in Oxnard, California. Jerry, Steven, Shotty, all on the podium at the same time. How many minutes and seconds into the press conference do you think the head coach took to just sit and take his surroundings in before he said his first words?
Considering Jerry and Steven were both there, probably 20 minutes.
It was eight minutes, which is a big number. I was setting you up to say something real big, so that's why he said 20. But, 8 minutes into a press conference and the coach says his first words. Yeah. It seems like surely Jerry's going to he's going to give his opening statement or whatever. And maybe it was an 8-minute opening statement, but it seems like you should give the coach an opportunity to.
You would think 20 out of 30-something plus teams, the first question is going to the coach. You would think. But not.
I'd probably say 30 plus.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys the only ones with with the owner. Maybe it's the GM out there. Oh, it is the GM out there. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it is the GM and the coach. GM and title only, in my opinion, and we kind of got some hints of that yesterday. At one point, Steven, when they're talking contracts, says, Jerry doesn't talk to the agents. I do. Which just confirms a little bit of what I've been saying for at least 5 years now, that Jerry is certainly in control of the team because he's Jerry Jones, and certainly I would say meddling with day-to-day operations, not necessarily running them. But Steven's making he's doing all the legwork. Stephen Jones is the GM. Stephen Jones is the owner, and Jerry's just the overbearing father sticking around. And I don't know what that says about the future of the Cowboys, but it's certainly not good. But Jerry Jones once again sticks his foot in the mouth when talking about Micah or Michael Parsons, one of the two, and Dak Prescott, talking about the conversation was going, hey, we've basically agreed in principle he's a hold-in, not a hold-out because he's at camp. We think we can get this deal done, but this is what Jerry had to say about signing stars to big contracts.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
Yeah, that's the risk, Jerry. Welcome to football. Welcome to the NFL, Jerry. You've been doing this for how many years?
Yeah.
And you stay up at night noodling numbers?
And I saw something just this morning. Micah Parsons has been in 67 of 72 games he's been eligible to play in. Excuse me?
Yeah, those are the 6 games last year. That's all he's missed in his whole career.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
There was also some conversation around Diggs, the corner, and Terrence Steele, the offensive lineman. We know him from Texas Tech. And that Jerry basically has regret on signing them to early deals, which is basically why he's waited on the other guys. I don't know. J.J. Watt, I think, said it best yesterday. And this tweet was since retweeted by Micah Parsons himself. This is a quote tweet of the clip we just heard, talking about Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott and signing big stars to big contracts, and then, hey, they might not even play because they're hurt. So this is what J.J. Watt says. Anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just got to take it. Nothing makes guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are they got hurt while fighting for you. Retweet Micah Parsons.
Tongue in cheek, firmly.
And look, I have a lot of thoughts on Micah Parsons. And he's got a lot of thoughts on Micah Parsons, speaking of Micah Parsons. And he's going to tell you all those thoughts on his podcast or his TV shows or his draft coverage with Bleacher Report. He's going to do all of that. But as a player, you absolutely knew that he was a star from the moment he stepped into the Cowboys facility. And you could have signed him for a fraction of what you're paying him now, but you waited.
Yeah.
You waited for Nick Bosa last season. You waited for TJ Watt this offseason. And now you have to make him the richest player in the defensive world. You don't have to, but if you want him on your team, you do, because you waited.
Yeah.
This is not Terrence Steele, who had a couple of good years, and you signed him while he's coming off an ACL tear, Jerry. That's on you, not on Terrence. This is not Diggs, who had one good season and then has been injured since. But that's one of the guys you signed early. And this is not Dak Prescott, who's on his second big contract. And again, you overpaid by $9 million because you signed him after Carson Wentz, or $60 million because you signed him after Tua and Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
That's on you, Jerry. He's the richest player in the world because of you. You could have gotten Dak for $48 million a year. But you waited an extra offseason, put him on a tag, and paid him $60, which is $5 million a year more per year average annual value than anyone else playing quarterback in the NFL. His cap hit is outrageous. You're going to have to restructure that deal if you want more players, which is what they always do. It's the Cowboys' MO. But they think they are geniuses, and they're not.
They're proven otherwise. My question, Rob, is in that whole thing, if you're Jerry and Steven, where and what made you think that Dak Prescott is worth the money that you paid him? Where and what? I mean, it had to be working from a fear of not having him, not of what he can and where he can take us. He hasn't, team-wise, shown anything yet.
Well, they were 12-4 for 3 straight seasons with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott finished second in the MVP voting in the season he got paid. And it wasn't specifically, I mean, he had a really bad game against Green Bay. But the whole team just laid an absolute egg.
Yep. But quarterback leadership, does that figure into that?
Well, I think Dak's a great teammate.
Yeah. I don't know.
Again, I would have 100% signed Dak Prescott to a second deal, a big deal. But they waited until they had to pay him $60. I wouldn't have paid him $60 either. I paid him $56.
I'm right there.
Or $55. I would have tied the other deals.
I'm right there with you.
But they overshot him for some reason. All right, more after this. 100.7 The Score. Ask the Benchwarmers when we return.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. Final segment on the End of the Bench. Similar to yesterday, I'll stick around for an hour, this time with Jamie Lent, before Choice Woodman takes back control of his Bottom Line program. As we move through this segment, it's time for Ask the Benchwarmers. You can get your questions in on the chat line. This from Mr. B. As for Jerry Jones throwing Micah, Dak, and our guy Terrence under the bus, he just needs to shut up and stay out of the way. The Bengals owner was way out of line for what he said about Shamar. Shamar, the Texas A&M graduate, or at least a former football player that was drafted by the Bengals in the first round and is yet unsigned. He's never been locked up, so why would he say something like that about him? Yeah. Both him and Jerry said really dumb stuff yesterday. The Bengals owner was worse. I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, we're paying these guys millions of dollars, and sometimes it doesn't work out because they get injured. And it's another thing to have a guy who's – if the Browns owner had said that, I would have kind of understood. This is 2 or 3 years in a row their second-round pick has gotten in trouble in the offseason before playing a game. But this one, again, he's not in jail. He's not in trouble. He just don't want to sign with you because you're sitting there with Hendrickson. He knows as soon as if he's the best pass rusher in the world, which is basically what Trey Hendrickson has been over the last 2 seasons, he's not going to get paid by you.
No.
So why would he go out and spend his rookie deal trying to do anything like that?
It took Joe Burrow a long time to get paid what he should have been paid.
Well, and they've paid the 2 wide receivers too. That's why I don't have any money for the
that's
right.
Jamar Chase and
Sooner Lubbock says, "What's for lunch today, fellas? Is it Taco Tuesday again, there, Craig?"
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'll skip Taco Tuesday today.
You got any plans? Oh, you gonna?
Yeah,
we got some anniversary plans probably tonight.
Yep. Gonna have a little dinner tonight.
All right. Well, maybe you abstain to go big tonight.
Yeah, I probably will.
All right. This texter, despite what Jerry said, the Dallas Cowboys had a great offseason. Did they? I don't know that they really addressed the running back room properly. Though a lot of people like this Broncos guy. And I certainly like Jaden Blue that they drafted. I mean, they traded for George Pickens. I was going to say they didn't address wide receiver 2, but Pickens is pretty good. I don't know that you just have a room full of guys, but Pickens and CeeDee Lamb should be adequate.
Yep.
Offensive line, they spent a top 12 pick on the offensive line. Defensively, you went and got a linebacker. You went and got a defensive lineman or 2. You lost DeMarcus Lawrence in free agency. You hadn't signed Micah Parsons yet. You let TJ Watt get in front of him.
And I don't know who you're going to put at running back.
Well, they said we're going to play some games before we know. Hopefully that's hopefully that's preseason.
We're going to throw all against the wall and see what sticks.
I would go maybe despite what Jerry said, the Dallas Cowboys had a fine offseason. They had a better offseason than last offseason.
Yeah.
Last offseason was horrible. They didn't do anything.
Were you surprised they didn't take a running back?
They took the kid from Texas.
Yeah, but I mean,
Jaden Blue.
First?
No. Gene was off the board. I didn't think there was another one. Hampton went later in the first round.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't trade back or go away from the offensive line, but they needed a guard, and they got a guard.
Yeah.
And I like the kid they took from Alabama. What's his name? Booker? Tyler Booker. You have Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker. And you find some more Tylers. Terrence and Cooper. You go Terrence, Tyler, Cooper, Tyler.
The T-Boys.
Yeah. Benchwarmers, the Dallas Cowboys are richer than the Cleveland Browns. Changed my mind. I don't. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Maybe he meant to say the Browns are richer than the Cowboys. Changed my mind. Who's the worst owner in sport in the NFL? The Cowboys or the Browns? The Browns owner is worse than the Cowboys owner. I always say
I'm
this.
going to tell you, I'll throw the Bengals in there.
Yeah, certainly. I always say this. I am very critical of the Cowboys. Despite the bits or whatever else on here, I'm still a Cowboys fan. I'm going to talk about the Cowboys. I'm going to watch every Cowboys game. They've always been my favorite team. They will always be my favorite team. As much as I don't want it to happen, as much as I want to be a Commanders fan now, or as much as I've been a Chiefs fan in the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's been, I'll always be a Cowboys fan. But when you really get down to it, what frustrates me so much about the Cowboys is that they're so painfully mediocre. They've not ever been bad. They've had a 4-12 year. They certainly were underwater last year. But the most frustrating stretch in the last 20 years of Cowboys football to me is not all the 8-8 Jason Garrett seasons. It's those 3-12-4 seasons with Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott where you were just getting roped by Brock Purdy throwing ropes down the field or Jordan Love throwing ropes down the field. And you couldn't get past either of those teams. I mean, you were really good in 2 of those seasons, and I really thought you outplayed yourself to be 12-4 in the other one. And you looked clueless against the Packers in the playoffs. You put Zeke Elliott in at center for the final play against the 49ers. And even when you won a playoff game and ended Tom Brady's illustrious career against the Bucs, you couldn't do anything against the 49ers that year. So I don't think Jerry Jones is a bad owner. He is the most outspoken owner. He's not a good owner right now. He's not a good GM. But I would rather have Jerry Jones putting together teams than whatever the Panthers have had and David Tepper the last 5 years.
Oh, absolutely.
The Titans have made some just mind-boggling decisions in the last 5 years.
For one reason or another, they put together good teams, not great teams.
Like, would you rather have the Jaguars ownership and Shad Khan or Jerry Jones?
Oh, absolutely.
Have they done
Indianapolis?
Have they done anything in the last 30 years? No. But would you rather be the Lions over the last 30 years or the Cowboys over the last 30 years?
Yep.
Well, the Lions have an NFC Championship appearance. Yeah. Okay, they also went 0-16. So it's such a I have a hard time equating the Dallas Cowboys with fans that hate the Cowboys, NFL fans that hate the Cowboys, because they talk about them like they are the Browns, like Bullfighters doing right now.
Yeah.
They talk about them like they're the Cardinals, or they talk about them like they're anyone else. They're above 500 in their worst stretch in the history of the franchise.
Yep.
It's more frustrating. The Cowboys are so painfully mediocre. As a great man once said, they're in a quagmire of mediocrity.
Yeah.
That's what's frustrating about the Cowboys.
And you see the potential. It's right there before your eyes.
They have great players. They've had great players. They've had great rosters. I would have put that one Cowboys 12-4 roster against anybody else in the NFL that season, but they could not do it in the playoffs. Could not. That Packers loss to Jordan Love when Jordan Love just absolutely demolished them, that was a great Cowboys team. And they just could not get it done. That's why I've abandoned the Cowboys. Back to the bit.
But we love those Cowboys.
Yeah, we love them. Well, not right now. Go Commanders. Bottom line up next. 100.7 The Score. We'll continue on after this.
This has been the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 107thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.